Cyberpunk 2077 has just been released and has been long awaited and a much hyped game for the last few years. You could say it's been anticipated like the second coming of Christ. Playing hours into the game, the story is solid and has made me want to continue the game. Don't worry, there are no spoilers here. However, there have been a lot of issues so far with the game, which leads one to wonder why it has not been pushed back to 2021 until it has been finished. Before you jump down our throats in the comments, this is by no means meant to be a negative video, but rather an observation of concerns and issues and bugs so far, and at time of recording is the 11th of December 2020. So some or all of these glitches may have been fixed at the time of watching. The biggest and most frustrating problem so far has been the game randomly closing during gameplay. This is something that in theory you would want to be ironed out before it is released. Now you expect bugs and various glitches when titles are released these days, as they are complex and need to be put through their paces by players so that it can be ironed out over time. But closing the game regularly for what appears to be no reason is very frustrating, especially bearing in mind when you first boot up the game you have quite a few different loading screens to go through. Even though I've played this game on a PS5, the game clearly requires a fair amount of loading time, and that's okay. The closing issue should be the main focus to be fixed in the next update, as this will be a game killer for some people. Next, you're getting other bugs, such as NPCs talking over the main storyline conversations, which is something you see a lot in games when they first release. This removes a lot of the immersion from the game and does not happen all the time, but it happens enough to be frustrating and means you have to play the game with subtitles on so that you do not miss anything. Another glitch is NPCs and vehicles randomly spawning or getting caught in the environment, such as walls or sitting on what appears to be several feet away from benches. Sometimes they even snap back into the correct place where they should be, which is rather amusing. You may be lucky enough to get a glitch where you'll be able to see inside the head of an NPC or V themselves, where you get to see the back of their eyes and the inside of their teeth. Rather amusing thing indeed. Another frustrating bug is the transition between the open gameplay and cutting to scenes that are either BDs or cyberspace or general conversation for side or story dialogues. Sometimes either a word, sentence or phrase sticks on the screen, not allowing you to respond despite coming out of a BD and being back in open gameplay. I have several times had warnings from BDs about moving out of range, despite coming out of BDs and being back in open gameplay. As I said, a reset fixes this, but you have to reload the game and go through its loading screens. Phone calls are another problem. I randomly get phone calls when I'm in important story dialogue conversations. Why? Even if I elect not to pick it up, the phone automatically answers and I have to wait for the caller to finish banging on about the job they have for me. Really annoying. Now, one of the biggest problems advertised has been genital sticking and peeping through clothes. However, I have not had this happen yet. Overall, the combat is tight and the visuals are very cool. If you want a more polished version of the game on next-gen or current-gen consoles, then I suggest waiting until 2021 and everything is patched out. And the game will be more in the place that CG Projekt originally envisioned. However, being kicked out of the gameplay randomly is very frustrating, but all the other glitches you can put up with in the short term if this one is fixed. What bugs and problems have you come across in Cyberpunk 2077? Let us know in the comments below. Like, share and subscribe. This is Scenario Gaming. I have been SlySar. Have a good one. Stuck. Come on, don't glitch out. This game will be a lot more fun without the glitches.